Hello. So I wanted to welcome you to your halfway point video. As always, I know I keep saying this a lot, but I do think a lot about the fact that we are moving a rapid pace. So we are halfway. So week 7 is due on Wednesday, June 26th by 11:59 p.m. And then you'll move into week 8, which is your halfway point. And that is due this Saturday, June 29th at 11:59 p.m. And then after that, you have a month left. So we are halfway done, which is super crazy to think about. So week 7, hopefully you've been digging into that and enjoying some of the information and materials that you're reading. Like I said, this does focus more on this idea of grass-fed beef. And I really hope that you're starting to make a distinction. And I noticed some of you are starting to make this distinction in your week 6 discussion board posts about this idea around the difference of grass finished versus grain finished. So up until a certain age, all cattle are fed grass or some form of grass. So alfalfa hay, grass hay, or they're grazing on a pasture. So really the focus is around how we're finishing the steer and whether or not we're finishing them on grass or we are moving them to a feedlot and then finishing them on primarily a grain or corn type diet. And so that really is the distinction that I hope you're starting to make. You're going to read chapters 10 and chapters 11. This really is around this idea of why we took animals off of grass. And I think there's some really great information in there about corn and kind of making that connection again to our corn unit. Chapter 11, again, will move more into pastoral grasses, and you're going to watch this fun little video that I have embedded into it that shows how Joel moves his chickens. I think it's a really fun little element that he has connected with allowing his chickens to be what we would think as free range or pasture raised. The text also mentions this Stockman Grass Farmer website. And so I've asked you this week to go out and actually look at that website. There are some different articles that you can view on the Stockman Grass Farm website. So I would encourage you to look through the list of articles so you can see there's a whole bunch here. So there's a scholarship fund. There's a business trajectory. A lot of people like this fat is the critical element. The other one that a lot of people like is this plants don't need soil, but soil needs plants. This one gets me all kinds of geeky because it talks a lot about soil health and ways that we can introduce different nutrients back into the soil. So cover crops, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, how can we get those nutrients back into the soil without having to use synthetic fertilizers? Your Let's Connect for this week is to create an avatar. So there are some step-by-step instructions on how to create your avatar. You do want to make sure that you respond to these questions. So why is having an avatar useful? How can having an avatar for your classmates be beneficial? And then really think about, especially in an online setting, having a photo that connects a name with a face. You'll notice that my avatar is located by my name up top in this right hand corner is where you will upload your avatar photo. So make sure that you complete that for week 7. Week 8 does mirror really kind of a traditional midterm week. So there is some extra things in there that you will want to be aware of because that does require midterms. Midterms are usually the point where you're either taking a test, you're submitting a big paper, and so I like to kind of emulate that a little bit. Your midterm here is fairly low stakes, so I wouldn't spend too much time fretting about it, but definitely know that there is some additional components in your week 8 learning module because it does represent midterm. Your week 8 discussion board does focus on chapters 12 and 13. I always give people this little like, alert. Chapter 12 is slaughter day. So this does take you through the process of slaughtering chickens. And so I would encourage you to read that information. I always like to tell my students that if you are a meat eater, this is a component of eating meat. I think as a human race, we've really removed ourselves from where our meat comes from, and we really removed ourselves from this thought process of this was an animal. At some point, it was raised in whatever setting it was raised, and then it was moved to a slaughterhouse. The animal had to be slaughtered, it had to be processed and packaged and moved to the grocery store in order for me as a consumer to go purchase that product and take it home and prepare it. So I really, while it does feel gruesome, I really do encourage you, especially if you're a meat eater, to remember that we've probably allowed ourselves to become a little disconnected from this process. And so I think it's a helpful reminder, of what we're eating, and how it was raised, how it was processed, and then how it made its way to our plate. Chapter 13 does a really good job of talking about this idea about how far our food travels. So I like to focus a lot on local eating because then you don't have this 1,500-mile travel time of something that's been harvested to get to your plate. So your assignment this week will be to visit the Local Harvest website. So you'll go out to Local Harvest and you can actually come in here and change some of the settings. So I have it defaulted to Boise, Idaho, but you might decide I'm not interested in Boise. I would actually like to see what's out there for Nampa or Meridian, or maybe I live in Twin Falls. So you can go in and change those preferences, but then it's going to give you a list of all of these different local farms that you can check out. And so maybe I'm really interested in, because it's July, it's almost July, maybe I'm really interested in having an opportunity to take my family out to pick some blueberries. And so in Eagle is this July blueberries farm. And so you can actually go out there 7 days a week and pick blueberries. And so it's really fun to just know that these things exist. Once you find a farm that you're really interested in, you are going to contribute to a wiki. And a wiki is basically a working document that allows you to see what your peers have contributed, but then it also allows you to enter some information. And so let me walk you through how this will work. Basically what you will do is you'll come in here and you'll see, once you get into the wiki, that there's an option right here that says edit wiki content. And you'll be able to come into that edit wiki content and insert your information. So the information, if you come back here, that you needed was the name of the farm. So you want to make sure that you record that. We also want to know the location of the farm. So when we come back to view this working document, it's helpful for us to know where is this farm located. If they have a website, it's helpful to copy and paste the website in for your peers to see. A lot of people want to know what they sell. So is it just local produce? Is it specifically blueberries, like our July blueberry website? What is it that they're selling? What are their business hours? And about how much are they charging for these specific things? So like the blueberry example, they charge $3 a pound for blueberries. So you'll want to make sure that you record that information and then transfer that into the table in the wiki. Once you've done that, you'll submit that so that I can go in and see what you've contributed to your wiki post, but then your peers can also go back and look at that wiki and really kind of see this running spreadsheet or running table of options of different places that you might be able to go to buy local produce. And this is a really great time to be looking for local produce because we're right in the thick of harvest season. So then, like I said, it is midterm week. Your midterm is fairly low stakes, but it does have a lot of points associated with it. So it's not something that you don't want to not do. But like I said, it is low stakes. So attached is a document. It's a Word document. I would encourage you to just open this Word document. And then from here, you can put your name, you can answer these questions, and then you can save this document and then upload it in the little upload section here. for your midterm points. And like I said, this is worth 50 points, so you want to make sure that you complete that. And then finally, your Let's Connect This within week 8 has to do with getting involved. So on campus, we have a lot of student clubs. We have a lot of different campus events that are happening. So I walk you through basically if you were to get involved on campus, what student club might you get involved with? If you were to attend a campus event on campus, what event might you attend? So I've linked you out to our student club webpage, and I've linked you out to our campus events webpage so that you can view what's going on campus. And then you have an upload with 3 questions that you need to answer. So did you find a club? If you're a high school student, you're probably not even thinking about attending student clubs on campus, but definitely think about if you were a college student, what club might you be interested in? And then did you see any events that piqued your interest? And again, you're going to attach that as a Word document, or you can submit it as a text submission. I'm fine with that as well for your Let's Connect assignment for the week. The final thing that I just want to say is we are at midterm point, so halfway point. I encourage you to always come back and look at your grade center, so see how your grades are looking. If there's something out there that you're like, I know I did that and she didn't give me points, or why did she give me a 0 for that, please read the comments. There's probably a reason why. And then the last thing that I want to remind you of is your discussion boards. So I have off and on, I get some questions like, do I still have to respond to 3 of my peers? All of your discussion boards throughout the semester do require that discussion component. So you do want to make sure that every single week or every single module, when you're posting a discussion board post, you're also responding to 3 of your peers. So that is a requirement for the remainder of the semester. The last thing that I will say, and I'll reiterate this in the announcement, is there is extra credit to come out to the campus garden and help me pull weeds and get things ready for harvest here in the next couple months. And then I will be out of town. We're heading out for a camping trip with no cell service, no internet. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. So if you do happen to send me an email this Friday or Saturday, know that I probably won't see it until Sunday night when I get home. So if it's urgent, please still send the email. Just know that I won't have as quick of a response because I will be out of town this weekend. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you're needing help with anything, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic midterm week.